Mary Kay family. Kathy asked me to say a few words about myself, and I'm really excited and honored to do so. I'll give you a little bit of history when it started, and I'll keep it reasonable. Let me get up here so you guys can see me.
And mostly hear you.
Yeah, I hope you guys can hear me pretty good. Well, anyway, I was born in Portugal in a small town on a farm called Damonde, which is, that's the same thing as it's mountain, okay? Anyway, and it was our family was self-sufficient. We purchased very little things. The only thing we purchased was sugar. We had a cow, a pig, chickens, rabbits, and we had fruit trees, a wonderful tangerine tree that I really love. I still remember it now, and I have a tangerine here at home to remind me of those days. We had a chestnut tree, and we went around, I did anyway, basically barefooted most of the time. I don't even remember wearing shoes, but I think I was wearing shoes when I went to church, and when we went out, did some paperwork that we had to before we came to America. So it was a great upbringing. It was tough. We were poor, but we lacked nothing. What we would do is we'd grow corn, and then we process the corn, just the whole kernels, and we take them to a bakery. And what they would do is they will weigh the corn, and they will decide how much bread they could give you for that. And so it was like an exchange. You give them the corn, they took their profit, processing and so forth, and they gave you bread. If you took a lot of corn, then they put a little book that says, oh, you can get a few more loaves next week, because you didn't want to get all the bread. Everything is fresh every day. So that was kind of cool. Let me see, what else? We just picture this. It's a little town, which is beautiful. I should have put a picture up here for him. We had a vineyard. We made our own wine. We had fresh vegetables, fruit, and we butchered a pig once a year. And the cow was just for the milk. So, we didn't do anything with the cow. But we had rabbits, so every now and then one would go down. We had a lot of chickens. So it was cool. I mean, and I learned a lot about survival, because my mom would say, hey, Tony, go over there and get a chicken. And I'd chase one down and we'd process it. But it was like a safe town. I walked to school. It was about 3 miles. And at that time, I was born in 1954. Oh, did I say that? Oh, no, I didn't know my age. Oh, but anyway, at that time in Portugal, you went to school only till 4th grade. That was free. The government provided that. And if you wanted to go further, then your family would have to pay. Unfortunately, what was scheduled for Tony was I was going to go till 4th grade, and then I was going to be working on the farm to help the family. So I really lucked out finding myself in America eventually. But anyway, we lived in the little 3-bedroom house, no electricity, no running water, no gas. We cooked in the fireplace, which was really cool. It was like a huge fireplace, and we'd hang sausages on top to smoke and a prosciutto, and so it was pretty cool. And we didn't. Now that I look back, I see that we were poor, but I don't think we realized that then, because it was a really good life. And as a matter of fact, today, I try to duplicate that, because it was just, such a positive thing. It still is, thinking about that. But anyway, so the school, it was 4th grade. However, they focused on arithmetic and reading and writing. And maybe you've seen some movies where they wrote with the pen, with the inkwell. That's how I learned. And let me tell you, that's not easy to do. Because when you're a kid, if you press too hard, all the ink comes out, you get a big old blot. Back then, getting a pencil, hey, that was a luxury. I mean, we run our pencils. We started out and we're like, oh, I got a new pencil. We had these little sharpeners. We'd sharpen it. We'd be really careful. And we were writing with pencils like this. And we had little chalkboards. That's how we learned how to write. Also, because they had to really push this education into you, if they were allowed, the teacher was allowed to paddle your hands. And the way they motivated us was, let's say there was a discussion and there was a question and they'd ask me the question, Tony, what's 5 by 6 times 6? And I didn't know. Well, they asked Jimmy over here. If Jimmy knew, he got the paddle and he hit me with the paddle. Let me tell you, you learn how to do things pretty quick when that happens. So, but anyway, it was a really nice life. And then my father is Brazilian. And so at that time, I think that it's changed now, a Brazilian person could come to the United States and call their family if they had a sponsor. Well, my father had a sponsor here in America. So he came here first, and then he got things set up. He got an apartment. He got the sponsor to support him and so forth. And when I was 9 years old, my father was already here in America. I was there with my 4 sisters and brother and mother working on the farm. And he kept saying, you come into America. So we were getting ready, but then he said, no, you come in and this ain't gonna happen. So we were put off a few times. Finally, it was happening, okay? So we sold the cow. I don't know what we did with the rest of the animals, to be honest with you. But anyway, I was 9. We got on the plane, never been on a plane before, and we flew to New York, okay? As we were landing, this was in the middle of the winter. There was snow on the ground. I had never felt snow, seen snow. We had no TV at the house, in Portugal. So, I mean, I only knew about Bonanza because that's what we got to watch once in a while at the local coffee shop, the TV. But anyway, I'm like, wow, America. I was so excited to be here. So we went right into Yonkers. We got this apartment complex. It was I believe 3 bedrooms. It was a nice big place, and we start experiencing the American life. It was so exciting. We had no TV in Portugal. Okay, all of a sudden when we got hit to America, my father says, "Come on in." We drove us there. We had 2 TVs, one on top of the other, with the rabbit ears. The only problem was one of the kids had to hold one of the rabbit ears so we could get some reception. So we took turns. Me being the big boy in the family, I made the girls do it, or my brother. Sometimes I had to go in there and manipulate the thing, and we got no clear picture. Believe me, there was like, So, but it was so fun because we got to experience things that children now experience at a very early age. I was 9 years old. I mean, we got to see Bugs Bunny. Oh, I love Bugs Bunny. We loved Dark Shadows. Maybe some of you guys will remember this, Speed Racer and things like that. But anyway, so into everything was like, wow. We used to go down to Woolworths. And the fun thing for me is to ride down on the escalator and then go up on the other and go back on the escalator and then go back down. That was fun. I mean, there was no Disneyland for us. But anyway, when we came here, we were able to get benefits. We were on welfare, okay? And so my mother shopped at the Goodwill, or it was Salvation Army. So that's where I got my clothing. So I was usually not in fashion, but always nice and clean. And my mother loved going in there and getting deals. Back then, you could buy an item like for 10 cents or 5. I don't know. She was great at negotiating. So every night she'd say, Tony, I got you a new shirt. And she'd come on and put it on. And I'm like, yeah, But so that's like where we started. My mom she stayed at home, and she didn't speak English. I went right into 4th grade. So I kind of got left behind a little because I was already in 4th grade in Portugal. But when I came here, the age, whatever, they said, it's 4th grade because we started like in the middle of the year. But anyway, didn't speak English. I knew nothing about English, okay? So it was so cool that I still remember today, these teachers, they were so wonderful. They understood that I was struggling, and they had special classes for me. Of course, I kind of abused that a little bit because sometimes I forgot my homework. I said, I don't understand. I don't know what happened, So I was getting away with a few things, But anyway, so that was a really good experience with the schooling that we had there. So we had a big family, but we were hard workers. So soon thereafter, I said, hey, we were all trying to help the family. And in my family, the way it worked was the people who were working, whatever they earned, 50% they'd give to the family. Okay, so I was like 10 years old. I found a bakery, and I would go there. At first, we would just go buy the old bread. We never bought, fresh bread, because the Italian bread, one day old, it becomes day old. They can't sell it as fresh. So I'd get a deal. So then what I would do is I got to talk to the people. They liked me for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, so I would like fold bags. I would sweep up, and they gave me free bread, like a big bag of bread. These 10 loaves in there. Okay, normally that would be $1 for 10 loaves, 10 cents a loaf. But I started getting that for free. Pretty soon I moved up to 25 cents a day. I got free bread, 25 cents a day. And they, of course, they buy me coffee or sweets, because there was a bakery right next door. They buy me lunch. So I slowly moved on up from there. And I spent, I had a little bit of connection to that bakery. The whole time I was doing different things, but I always had that connection, and they were like my second family. And so what else would happen? Okay, so I moved on. I have a little thing here, so I don't miss anything. Okay, so anyway, interesting enough, at first it was a real struggle to learn the English language. And every little thing, even the simple things, but I had a strong background in arithmetic. So that really helped me out, And one day, all of a sudden, I felt like, now I could speak English. I mean, it just happened. It was like magic. Boom. I was like, oh, I understand this stuff now. I guess it was all sitting in there, working itself. And all of a sudden, it started coming out. So I started feeling comfortable. But I'm telling you this because I've had such a great life. And living, when we came to America in that same neighborhood, it was, considered, like a poor neighborhood, but we had so much fun. We played stickball on the street, we like playing baseball. We played marbles on the sidewalk. We played for buttons. We put the buttons in the little hole with a rock, and we try to grab them. I was going around with her, you needed buttons, you were losing it, you just rip some of your buttons out and put them in there, So I went through a lot of buttons. But anyway, so fast forward, so you guys don't fall asleep. It's okay, all right? At 21 years old, I said, New York is too cold. I got to go somewhere where it's warm. So I picked up my stuff, like the Beverly Hillbillies. You saw that movie. Okay, I had a motorcycle in the car, and I said, I'm going somewhere where it's warm. And I initially thought California. It was in the middle of the winter, so I hit snow. I had a tough time. I hit Tucson, Arizona. And I'm like, I'm staying here. This place is beautiful. It was warm, where I just came from the snow. So anyway, I decided to stay there. Got a little apartment. Got a bunch of odd jobs over there. I eventually made my way up into juvenile court as it was not a probation officer. It was called child care worker. So I worked with kids, it was considered a peace officer there, believe it or not. It was kind of like a probation officer, a step below that. Anyway, so one day I was working at juvenile hall, and I went to this dancing place over there, country western, called the Bump Steer. It was like 10 o'clock at night, I went over there. I was going to go over there, get a drink, just relax. It was a food place. It was not like a bar. It was like a combination bar and stuff. So I went up there on the second floor, and there was music. There was people dancing, So I go over there, I be cool, I'm checking it out, I see Kathy over there dancing with her sister. She was dancing with some guy, and I'm like, oh, so I was trying to be respectful. So I'm like, I'm like, hey, she's dancing with someone, so I just kind of gave her the eye, looked at her, we kind of, I don't know. We kind of found each other, and but this was already late, and the place was closing. I think they closed like at 1 o'clock. I wasn't there very long. But anyway, so at the end, I was like, I saw her, and it was like she was so beautiful. She had this little shirt with little checker things, and she had a little cross thing, like she like looked like an angel. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to marry that girl. The reason why that was so unusual is because then I was thinking I want to be a bachelor the rest of my life. I'm like, I took all my shots and everything, you know, and all of a sudden, boom, I saw her, and I'm like, oh man, I got to have this girl. Oh my God, but be careful. Don't move too fast because you're going to lose her. So I walked her outside. I don't know how that happened, but I did. Maybe it was the closing time. But anyway, I said, no, Tony, you got to be careful here because you're going to lose this girl if, you know, she's going to think you just, you know, messing with her. So I said, look, I really like you. Here's my phone number. I said, don't give me your phone number because I'll be calling you. You know, I don't want to do that because I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I said, if you like me to, if there's any connection you think, you call me. And then from there we'll go on. So of course I was on pins and needles. I went home, I couldn't sleep, you know. I woke up in the morning and I'm like, oh man. Next thing you know, the phone rang, you know, the wall phone. You know, I had a big black phone. I picked that up and it's this sweet little angel calling me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this girl, you know. And so, but anyway, make a long story short, we start writing each other every day. And we still have boxes of letters, which I read a few times, that they're there, you know. And then we dated for 4 years. And I decided to come out to California. I had a couple of jobs. I became a probation officer with San Diego County for 10 years. Then I got hired with the feds for 10 years. I was a federal pretrial officer doing background investigations for the court. And back a little bit, I'm sure what age it was when Kathy started Mary Kay, about 26, 27 years ago, 28 years.
29.
Well, anyway, at that time, Kathy was working for National University. She was the assistant dean. And then we had our first son, Johnny, and Kathy decided she wanted to stay home, you know, with the children, with Johnny. And so she says, you know, I want to be doing Mary Kay. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what? Because she has a master's degree in business. And I'm like, she's going to do Mary Kay? Well, what are you going to do with your degree, you know? But anyway, of course, I didn't sway her. I mean, she was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm staying home and I'm going to do Mary Kay. So, of course, you know, I tried to, you know, get her out of that thing, you know, like I said, I just won't support her. I tell her that she has to take care of the children and all that kind of stuff. She wouldn't put up with it. She just kept doing it. So, I mean, within 6 months, she had a new car, a free car. It was, I think, a red Grand Am, okay? And you couldn't stop this girl. I mean, she was doing everything. She was out there, you know, we went somewhere, to a restaurant, she put little things in the box in the restaurant or in the bathroom or whatever. She was out there recruiting people left and right. And then next thing you know, yeah, let me see. This is important. So I was kind of fighting it because I'm like, Mary Kay, you know, she'll probably just do it for a while. We'll have a bunch of drawers full of Mary Kay and she'll quit, you know. And what's up with this girl? I mean, she's got a master's degree. Let's go out and get a big job. You know, we want the money. And I said, we send our child to babysitter. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, Kathy just kept going on her thing. And I think it was like a year later, I know it was that same year, she says, Tony, you come and seminar with me to Dallas. And I did. I'm like, I'll go, you know, maybe I'll find out what's going on. Then I can really sock it to her and tell her to quit, you know. So I go to Dallas, and I tell you, that's really what brought me into Mary Kay. Okay. I was already halfway convinced, you know, but going to seminar, watching just seeing those people. I mean, every kind of woman there, all walking around like peacocks with their things going on. They were all so friendly. It was like a huge family. I think there was like 5,000-6,000 people there. I mean, it was huge at that particular time. And I was so impressed with just the feeling. I just felt like, you know, I know these people. They're like, I'll be going into a room, I open the door, they're like, hey, come on in, you know. It was so inviting. But anyway, that's when I bought into the program. And then after that, of course, Kathy has had brand new cars every 2 years, most of them Cadillacs. Okay, so I mean that's pretty crazy. And then trips that we've had. I mean, where we've been. The first trip that we went to was Scotland, Austria, China. I mean, I was like, whoa, China, Greece, Portugal, Spain, Hawaii. I mean, the thing about Mary Kay is that if you work the business, you're gonna move up. There's just no way. And they treat you like gold, okay? And there's no ceiling. That's the nice thing about it. There's no ceiling. You can do whatever you want. If you want to just kick back, and not do a whole lot, that's fine, okay? But if you, for some reason, find it in you that you want to do something, you can really do it. So let me see. Make sure I didn't mix anything here. Okay. Okay, here. Okay, I don't want you to miss anything important because I wrote this down, so I'd be ready. I got to make points over here. It's Valentine's Day, okay? So, hey, hopefully, this is going to be worth something because I haven't gotten her a present yet, so I have to work on that. But I will, because I know better, okay? And so, I mean, the bottom line is, well, you guys know. I mean, this Mary Kay is wonderful, okay? You're going to get out of it what you put into it. The business works if you work. It's like me. I'm a real estate agent now, okay? And, I mean, I don't do a whole lot of work, so I don't make a whole lot of money, but there's agents out there who are making a killing because they're doing a lot of work. They're doing the activity that brings in the results. I know that, but I don't have to work because I got Kathy here to take care of me. See, there's my girl right there. She takes care of me. But anyway, no, but it's fun. I like having my own thing. And so these days here, basically I'm just helping her. She's got a housemaid that comes in once a week and takes care of the house. I used to do that, got fired from that. I used to do the laundry. She didn't like what I did, got fired from that. Hey, it hurts, but I can handle it because I'm a big boy.
Tell them about how you got to be retired early.
Oh yeah, and then so I was working pre-trial. I had done 10 years, and this was on the time where 2/11 happened. And Kathy always been talking about. She said, "Hey Tony, my mission is to retire early from law enforcement because you've been doing it for 25 years. Really." So I'm like, "Oh yeah, right. Hey, I'm working with the feds. I got the big job. I'm not gonna quit." But then things changed, and I was like, I could quit here and spend time with Johnny, So one day I just made a decision, and I'm like, I told my boss there at work, I said, "Hey, I've had it with this. Can you give me a year's leave because I just need, to get out of this, And she says, they try to keep me there, but they said okay. And then I just called up Kathy and I said, "Hey, honey, I quit my job." And she's like, "Yeah, right, Tony. Yeah, you quit your job." I think back then, this has been quite some years ago.
20 years ago.
Okay, I was making like 100,000, which was a lot. I mean, today 100,000, is nothing. But then I had reached, I was a supervisor, and she's like, "What?" She says, "You're crazy." So anyway, so then I came home. I started spending time with the children. I mean, that was the best thing I did because that job was really challenging and stressful because, the work that I did. I couldn't tell you, although I have to kill you if I tell you. But anyway, but the bottom line is this Mary Kay business has been just a wonderful thing for our family. I just hope that you find it the same thing for you. And why am I so supportive? Because this girl here, she's so happy doing it. My only concern is when she retires, what is she going to do? Oh my gosh, I'm going to be worried about it. But Kathy, I'm going to tell you this, okay? Kathy loves you all. She gets excited when you guys do well. She gets excited. Is she perfect? No. is sometimes, she says crazy stuff and you're like, wait, what's wrong with this woman? She's, just joking around. What's up with her? She's legit, okay? She loves you guys. She puts so much into this business. She never looks at cost. I'm like, what do you mean you're giving them diamonds? What do you mean you're doing? What are you doing here? Oh my gosh, are you crazy? She's like, honey, I love these women. They deserve it. They're earning it. This woman really loves you. I mean, this is more than a business to her, okay? This is a lifestyle. And also for our family. And of course, our children, they benefited so much by listening to her, by watching her. Right now, Christina's inside the house over there doing something. I mean, she's just visiting today. I mean, she could be out, getting ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow with her friends. She's here because Kathy needed her assistance. So we work together. I hope you work together. I hope that you stay safe out there and stay away from the news as much as you can. That's the only advice that I can give you. I don't even watch the news. Of course, it comes to me on my phone and stuff like that. And wonderful time. If you ever need a good real estate agent to help you, you just call me. I'll take care of you like family. And I got references. I've helped many, well, not many, several Mary Kay people. So sorry to take up so much of your time, but I probably won't do this again for a long time. So
send Tony some love through the chat there. Send him a little love. Stay here. You can read the little things.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Tony!
Oh, Lynn has to unmute. She's so, and there's Brian in the background.
Hey, Brian.
Your homeboy, your homegirl.
Yeah.